The Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City. The Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City. The Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City. The Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City. The Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City. The Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show.
What is up? Welcome back to another episode of The Tailgate Show.
Thirsty Thursday,
What's up,
boys?
fellas? Thirsty Thursday. Would it be? We're in the throes of Deshaun drama, Deshaun Madness.
Man, I'm on Facebook right now. There's an article that CBS did. No tuna in Subway's tuna sandwiches and wraps. Lawsuit claims.
Lawsuit about some tuna?
It ain't tuna.
Oh, like what is it?
I don't know. I just saw them like, oh, that sounds nasty.
Well, that's a hell of a segue.
Yeah, Jared, what the fuck?
You see where his $5 foot long got him.
Apparently, that's Diddy's way of saying he doesn't give a fuck about Deshaun Madness, right? Is that what
Oh,
you're
no,
trying to say?
I love Deshaun Watson, man. I just don't. Come on, what?
I mean, he's no Jamie Newman.
Well, it's you got a guy that
Just get crushed.
his issue ownership down there. Like, what the fuck is our ownership put on the table that makes somebody want to come here?
Right. That's what's bananas is. So, like 2 weeks ago, you had half of this fan base saying, "Blow it up. This team is worthless. Everything." Now all of a sudden, it's like we're Deshaun Watson away. Which is it? Like, which one is the truth? Which one is real?
Dude,
like they
don't
can't
get me wrong.
both.
I want him here. I just
Right.
don't think it's realistic.
But it's like all of a sudden you start to say like, hey guys, maybe the Bears aren't Deshaun Watson's first choice. I know he liked those weathermen. That was pretty cool. But I mean, like, really, like compare us to.
You go to a team like the Jets that has a fresh new coaching staff, like, and Shanahan's system that they're going to run on offense, and they have cap space to bring in weapons to surround Deshaun.
Right.
Like, you bring him here, dude. Can we even sign it here, Rob? We don't know what the structure is going to be with the salary cap and cap. Unfortunately, the cap does matter, unlike some people think. But
Bro, we're getting played. We're getting played by Deshaun.
So bad. Twitter. About 20 minutes ago. Dear Deshaun, play your violin music here. You'd be cherished here in Chicago.
Who wrote that
Not
shit?
just as an athlete, but as a man.
Oh, fuck out of here. Who
A
wrote
living
that?
legend.
Is that
A
George?
hero to those. No. A hero
Who wrote
to those.
that shit?
A lifetime of unanswered prayers and dreams.
Oh my God, shut up.
Someone worthy of overwhelming love and loyalty. You're special,
Loyalty.
but so are we.
Bro, what kind of simp shit
Find
is
a
that?
Bears fan.
What
won't
simp ass
blast
wrote
them.
that? Who?
I won't blast them, but
Bro, I'm gonna
let's just
find
say
it.
they have a report that kind of bears down.
Oh, bro, come on with that shit. Get out of here with that shit. Stop. Like,
is that the same Bear Down? Was the Bear Down report the one that said this is Emmanuel Acho, former Bear? Did you see
I
that
don't
link
know.
thing?
I never saw that. That he runs it.
No, they put a video up of Sam Acho and added his brother, saying it was a former Chicago Bears brother. It's like, no, that's not me, but thanks.
Wow. Ouch.
Good shit.
Ouch.
It's like,
bro.
listen, like, I mean, we've said how long have we've been jonesing for Deshaun since 2017.
Yeah, I wanted them to draft him bad, bro. But like, do you really want to get that excitement going and put yourself through that same position you were in 17, where it's just gonna be like missed on him again?
No, I'm not getting hurt again. I will not put my shit on the chopping block to get chopped off again by this shit ass fucking like.
Out here trying to protect my heart, man.
I just like this organization. Like, fuck them. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not coming back on board yet. Now, I'm not saying in 6 months I might not.
I get they are trying. We're talking with Ill Will on Twitter, and I get they're gonna try. Right? That's cool that they're gonna try. Just to appease the fan base, they're gonna try.
Maybe they made a phone call, but like people are actually reading tweets and then willfully misinterpreting them. Like Adam Schefter says, like, you know, that amongst other teams, I guess the Bears are not someone you could rule out.
Yeah, it's silly. Like on our show, we've asked him several ways, and he said, "Oh, he would consider Chicago."
Right. And it's like I get it. Sylvie's on the hustle. He's a media professional. He needs clicks, and so I'm all with that. But don't be dishonest. Like, don't be like that Daniel Greenberg guy, like Captain Retweet. You know, being like, oh, Rappaport says this and that. Like, Rappaport didn't say shit. Rappaport said that the Panthers are in heavy. You know, the Dolphins should be in heavy. And, the Bears are in heavy because the Bears are basically like, you know, somebody's little brother that's, you know, trying to see a naked girl.
Is that the Greenberg that has a radio show?
No. That's Mike Greenberg. No, Daniel Greenberg is just some Chicago sports guy who retweets shit.
You gotta know your Greenbergs better.
No,
maybe that should be a tailgate game. Know thy Greenbergs.
Yeah. Well, and then people are tripping because Louis Riddick was on Mike and Mike Greenberg national show and saying that Nagy, you know, is all about Watson. And he will do everything to get Watson if he can. Blah, 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 this and that.
He would do anything for a quarterback.
You're going to have to move that 20th pick for the 3rd pick overall.
So like, everybody is straight running with this, like, going bananas. And it's fine, but, like, just think about it logically. Like, if you'd
have to throw more first-round picks than anybody.
Right.
Everybody else throwing 3, we'd have to throw 4.
Well, as usual, the Bears will have to overpay because we have to overpay for everything.
And that's why, even if this move were to be made, I don't want Pace to make it because he's put this organization back so far with the moves he's already made. And then when he misses in the draft, he has to pay his way out of it. He brought A-Rob in for Kevin White, brought Mack in for Floyd.
Like, I'm good with sending as many picks. Like, honestly, like, I don't even care.
You don't want a situation like what happened with Herschel Walker and the Vikings versus.
That's like a total one-off. Like, I don't even think that's like yes. That's the most.
Let's count the picks though. Let's count the picks. You gave up 2 for Mac, right? You gave up 1 for Mitch.
Morris. Mr. Morris in the chat says Watson and a first draft pick for Nick Foles. I love this plan. I love it. I'm down. I'm all about it.
Oh yeah,
Morris. Morris is a Raiders fan. He needs to trade us.
Let's talk.
Derek Carr or David Carr. No, not David Carr. Derek Carr. We want Derek Carr. Make it happen, Morris.
Yeah, what does he want from Carr?
You know Gruden's over his ass. Give us Carr. Send us Carr. We'll send you Robert Quinn.
Carr for full, straight up.
Yeah, we'll send you Robert Quinn, a bottle of the fucking Colin McGregor shit. Yes,
real sleepy.
We're working a trade right here. Morris is gonna talk to Mayock. It's happening.
There it is. There it is.
It's all happening. Fuck it. You guys know you're done with Derek Carr. I mean, we would.
Oh yeah.
Like, we've talked about Derek Carr ad nauseum, so this is nothing new. But for those of you who don't know, we've been on Derek Carr. We want Derek Carr to be a Bear. We were all about it because last year there was no chance that Deshaun Watson was available. So that's where you're at. It's like you got to. I understand. Like, you got to try.
I'd be down for Dak Prescott too, if it was doable.
Well, so this is something I was thinking about this evening. Is like, what if you could somehow get Dak? Now, the problem there.
You know what? As much as it pains me to say it, it wouldn't happen because it's in division. But I take Stafford too. I mean, there's a bunch of quarterbacks on that list that may be available that are better.
So there's 3 knees and a back 3 knees and a back injury. That's
Well,
what
Deshaun has two legs
all
too.
for it.
So Stafford, I think, is very unlikely, like you said, because of the division aspect. But if he's probably one of the cheaper ones to get, but he's also not very expensive on. Is that Raul? Yes. He's not very expensive on the the salary cap. All right, right now. We're about to be joined by the one, the only Raul Bennington, and you will know him by his tag that he has added here, the Impregnator. What up, Raul? Welcome to the Tailgate Show, live and direct.
Long time no see.
What's
up, man?
What's going on? Are you
nothing much, man?
Are you wearing a turban? What is happening?
I'm in a hoodie.
Okay, you look like E.T. motherfucker, phoning home on that ass.
Let's just get right to it, bro.
What's going on?
Deshaun Watson madness. What you think?
We're just talking about all these simps out here kissing up to Deshaun.
You guys gotta know me. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all go, and then I'm gonna add my own 2 cents.
Well, I mean, basically, I'm just like my thing is like it's cool. We want him. We've been there. We've done that. I wanted him in 2017. I'm not getting hyped up for this again. I can't do it.
Yeah,
I can't do it. I can't get all hyped up. I can't get my feelings all twisted up in this shit again. Like I'm just not doing it. Like. And if people want to, write love letters to the dude and send him dick pics or whatever, like that's between them.
I'm afraid.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not gonna.
Yeah, what's going on? I'm sorry, my internet is tweaking, but I'm good now.
Okay, but yeah, that's where I'm at on it. I mean,
so I don't know where you guys have left off, but this is just my opinion. Okay. The irony of the Bears, first and foremost, you guys know I've been on the crusade of quarterbacks ain't worth a goddamn thing. I hate quarterbacks, but it's okay. So my idea, this is my thing. Chicago Bears fans are clamoring for Deshaun Watson, right? And they're saying, give up every single thing for Deshaun Watson, right? Deshaun Watson posted. Hello?
Hello. Yep, you're good. You're good. Keep going. What happened?
Hello?
Hello. Raul.
Watson, I'm sorry. Deshaun
go ahead.
Posted something like 40 touchdowns and 5,000 yards and 7 kicks, and still his team was like 4-12, right?
Right.
And the reason is because his team didn't have enough as a team to win.
Right.
They didn't have enough around him to win. So now Chicago Bears fans are suggesting bringing Deshaun Watson into the same situation by getting rid of 3 first-round picks, which directly impacts your cap and your ability to acquire talent. You're going to put him right back into the Jay Cutler situation, and then we're going to be 3 years without first-round picks. It's like it doesn't make sense, especially for a team that has witnessed the Jay Cutler trade and the Khalil Mack trade. You would think Bear fans would understand when you give up that much capital, it's impossible for you to build a complete team. We're gonna have to pay the guy $40 million a year.
Yeah. So my question for you is though, like we don't know. My opinion, like skill position wise, we've never been able to really evaluate that because we haven't had the quarterback to put them in a position to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like if we can keep A-Rob in the midst of all this, and you got Mooney, and I don't know what they're going to do with Miller and the Wims and those guys may be better with Deshaun. We don't know.
What? I'm honestly, I think that the entire offense would be better with Deshaun. I think the entire offense is going to be better with a competent quarterback. Period. But then we're going to look, and God forbid we do get Deshaun Watson, right? And this is just looking at everything. You get Deshaun Watson for 3 first-round picks, right? your ability to fill a complete roster is razor thin because you don't have first round picks. So now you have Roquan coming up on contract, right? Luckily, thank God we get out of the Robert Quinn contract, but it's going to be hard for you to re-sign those players as well. So now you're gonna have to go to the bargain bin just to find impact starters, or you have your margin for error in the draft is absolutely thin. You
Yep.
feel me? And that's the same thing that
Right.
happened with Jerry Angelo, and
Right.
his margin for error in the draft was absolutely thin. So he was going after the guys that could create immediate impact, and they didn't work out. Right. So that's just something that I caution Bear fans with. I think, me personally, the 3 first round picks is an absolute no. No. 2, I can
Same.
understand. 2, I can understand. 3, you're out of your mind. This is why it's never happened before, because you're gonna be hard pressed to fill a roster. And God forbid you have one of those years that you have a lot of injuries. Now you're giving Houston a top 10 pick again.
Right.
They're reloading, and you're just getting older.
Right. And then other thing I think that people are not willing to recognize is that why would Deshaun want to go to a team that has to completely mortgage their future like this? Like he would be stupid to do that. Like, and that's what I said when we opened the show. Is like literally a week ago, Bears fans were telling us that this team was trash, tear it all down, fire everybody, and now all of a sudden trade away your picks and God knows what else. I mean, we've come up with some stupid trade ideas as a joke, but people are really willing to or think that, oh, we'll just throw Kyle Fuller in there. The Texans don't want Kyle Fuller. That makes no fucking sense. So stop saying that. Oh, we'll just throw Roquan Smith in there. What would they want an all-pro level linebacker who has to get his big-ass contract next season for? They won't. Like, they don't want any of that shit. They want what the Jets have. They want what the Dolphins have. That's what they want. They want they want 2 first-round picks and a young player, or 3 first-round picks. But nobody's going to give them 3 first-round picks, so it's going to be, the Jets pick and Darnold, plus another first-rounder and maybe a second, or it's going to be Tua, and that's the most likely thing. I mean, Bears fans are smoking crack if they think that Deshaun wants to come here.
If you're Deshaun Watson, wouldn't you rather go to a young and up and coming team like Miami?
Yes.
Draft capital?
With no state income tax?
Yeah.
Yes. It's crazy. Like, Bears fans are literally ready to storm Hallis Hall one minute, and then it's like, come to the Bears, you'll be a legend. Fuck out of here.
And I know what Raul was saying, but like the first picks, I get that. But what would you rather have, Deshaun Watson or Pace with 3 first-round picks?
Well, if that's the case, then as we should well know that dude should have been fired. Like,
yes, exactly.
Like, you're honestly going to sit here and say that Pace is great, but not with first-round picks. Okay, then fire dude.
I know.
Ding.
And people are now saying, like, oh, well, Nagy's in charge now. Oh, fucking great. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I mean, I think if Lovie Smith is in charge of that defense right now, right? And we know that Lovie Smith's defenses work with a couple of players. You need that.
I wish Lovie Smith was in charge of our defense.
No, he's in charge of.
No, he's now the Texans' defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Roquan.
So I wanted him here.
Yeah, so honestly, even though they have linebackers that can flow, Roquan would be a premium for them. But even bigger would be Jalen Johnson.
Yeah.
But do you think they really want to win right now? Or don't you think they want?
No, I don't think they do. But a piece like Jalen Johnson or Roquan Smith would go a long way for that team.
That would be the defense. That would be the ultimate monkey paw shit. Like, that would be cutting off your nose to spite your face. Like, to weaken the defense and give first round draft picks. I mean, we would just become the Texans. Like, it would be Texans North.
First time as Bears fan.
I tried throwing out on Twitter, bring in Tyrod Taylor and draft Jamie Newman. Let's call it a day.
Tyrod's going to end up in Detroit.
I like Tyrod. Yeah, that's a good spot for them. We've been shooting it around Tyrod. I like Tyrod, but man, honestly, the best case scenario to me for the Bears is somebody like Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it just works, and of course, why would Gruden give up his quarterback? I mean, the team has been stuck in mud for how long? And Gruden is an absolute egomaniac. So at this point, he probably wants to find his own QB. Gruden likes QBs that are like that have an arm. They're going to second round pick out there. What's up?
I got all those arguments last year about Carr doesn't play good in cold weather. I'm like, I wanted Carr last year.
He doesn't. But with that said, at this point, I mean, what are you going to do? It's either him or Gardner Minshew. And don't get me wrong. I don't want Bears fans to think that I don't think Deshaun Watson is good. I think Deshaun Watson is good. I think he's a great quarterback. When it's all said and done, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. But I also know that team construction is huge. So then, therefore, I mean, like, just because of the salary cap, right, and how rookies' contracts are scaled now, you cannot give up 3 first-round picks.
No.
If you say I'm giving up 2 first-round picks and maybe a second or a third, okay, we can talk, right?
Well, there's already precedent. There's already precedent in our franchise with the Jay Cutler trade.
Exactly.
I mean,
but here's the thing: is that
now what that did garner you? It did garner you an NFC Championship berth and playoffs, but you didn't do anything with it.
And that was the beginning of the end, though.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely. Because the defense was gone and coaches left, and
and that's the thing. Like, you speed up your clock when you give up that much assets.
Right.
Your clock is like right there. It's sped up. You are on that 12th hour. You have to win and win championships. There's no issue. There's no player. I'm waiting for this player to develop. Wait till next year. There's no we didn't win the title because you don't have it. You literally don't have the time to grow your players. So I mean, I don't know, man.
Scarby77 in the chat said Deshaun wants to play for Saleh. It's inevitable he's going to the Jets. I don't know if he wants to play for Saleh. I think people that are counting out, okay, maybe cool. If you know that to be true, I didn't hear that, but I'm not saying it's not. But people that are discounting the Jets,
it was him or Bieniemy.
Right. We talked about this. People that are discounting the Jets. I mean, I don't know why. Like, there's no reason on earth. Like,
it's a young team.
The Jets are a better situation than the Bears, and Bears fans today don't want to hear that. 2 weeks ago, you were ready to blow it all up, but today we're so much better than the Jets. Get the fuck out of here. Like, this playoff berth not only kept Nagy and Pace around, but it's now making our first-round pick worthless in terms of a trade. I mean, we might fuck around and get a decent player at 20. Don't get me wrong.
You got a decent left tackle at 20, man.
Sure, decent. Yeah, there's all sorts of players right now you could take in that spot. You might end up with a quarterback. You might end up with a tackle. You might end up with a wide receiver.
Right. Well, how do you feel about Mac Jones, man?
Kyle Pitts, you might end up with. Raul, give us your take on Mac Jones.
This is my thing. Mac Jones, I think if this was 10, 15 years ago, would be the number 1 overall pick. But it's a different NFL. I think Mac Jones is a player that is more of a point guard than he is a elite quarterback. If you have the right things around him, he's going to be good. But you have to have the right players around him, the right, offensive weapons around him. If you put Mac Jones on a team that he has to shoulder, the workload, I think you're going to damage him. I don't think he's that good of a player that he can, make an average roster or a bad roster good. I think he's a quarterback that if you have a good roster, he can make that good roster great.
Yeah, but that's my issue.
Bama, man. They're stacked.
Yeah,
Yes, they are definitely stacked, but But don't you think, to some extent, that the way that some of these quarterbacks are starting to come out of these stacked offenses and are succeeding makes you think that maybe that's not the case? I mean, I've been saying before, like, I value.
Well, I think he'll be good, but he needs protection and he needs skill. He needs guys at the skill position.
Yeah, and on top of that, I keep saying this, like, the Bear fans just think it's a narrative, and we just say it, but Chicago is not a friendly place for quarterbacks. If your quarterback does not have, a howitzer attached to his chest, to his shoulder, he's not going to succeed. You need a quarterback that can zip through the wind in Chicago, and that's just it. I don't know if Mac Jones has that requisite arm talent. I think that he has a very average, arm, but you need somebody that has like that arm, because we all, if you've been on the lake, you know how crazy the wind gets there. You know how that temperature kind of changes. You need somebody that when it comes to November, you need somebody that can cut through that cold and that wind.
Now Jamie Newman can do that.
Yeah. Except Jamie Newman has a hard time processing.
Right. He's raw.
Yeah. Well, see, that's my thing, is that, like, I value Mac Jones's performance against competition more than I devalue him, being surrounded by blue chip dudes. You know what I mean? Like, I think that he's the pluses for him, for me, are he had to win the job in an extremely competitive environment. It's not easy to become the starting quarterback for Alabama. You beat out some serious dudes to do it. And the pressure is insane. Like, I think it's NFL level pressure. In some ways more so. I mean, there's definitely more pressure to win in Alabama than Jacksonville.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that should count in Mac Jones's favor.
Oh,
and people want to say, he's surrounded by blue chips. Like, I just look at him and I watch out, and I'm not a scout. I'm not even, I don't really know shit. I just have opinions, But like I'm just saying, like, I watch Mac Jones, and to me, he looks more like an NFL quarterback and seems to be making more NFL type throws under more normal NFL timing. Like, Wilson is sitting back there, like, on the hash mark, having a fucking sandwich. And then, he uncorks a great, unbelievable pass. Like, dude has an arm.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. But, like, he literally, like, throws it from a bar stool. He's just chilling. Like, with, like, 8 seconds to throw it. Like, he doesn't even have to throw it on the move. He's literally, like, rolled to the hash and then just stopped. Like, I just think, and I know that people say, oh, Mac Jones has tons of time too, but I just think he throws more of those seam, drop in the bucket, anticipatory, lead the receiver to the sideline type of throws that NFL players have to make.
Yeah, I agree. I think in my evaluation of Mac Jones is Mac Jones cerebrally is a good quarterback. He knows the progressions. He runs an NFL style offense. He knows where to go. He's like a point guard. He knows how to distribute the ball accordingly. You feel me? That's what he does. He's a quarterback that plays like a point guard, right? He's not the type of guy where you need that big comeback and he's gonna get that crazy throw. And this is not him. That's putting too much on him. That's not the way he wins. Another thing too is modern day NFL. You need to have a dual threat quarterback. Like, defenses are so that now if you don't have a quarterback that can run or give the option to run, it becomes easier on that defense. That's why all these quarterbacks are mobile now.
But don't you think that there's a flip side to that coin? Because I feel like what's happening right now is Jair's back. The flip side to that coin is that if you have a mobile quarterback, but they cannot consistently beat you with their arm, now what teams are doing is they're going to sit back and they're going to spy you, and they're going to say, oh, fucking fine, Go ahead. We know you're going to throw it to us eventually. We're going to sit back in the too deep shell and play everything in front of us. And guess who just got fucking rehired? Lovey Damn Smith. Because, and you could tell me I'm wrong on this, Raul, but doesn't it seem like that the cover 2 is coming back into fashion? And it's because you have to stop these mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Well, I heard somebody say it really. Really eloquently that the cover 2 comes back because it's easier to disguise coverage out of the cover 2.
Right. And that's the one thing that I think hopefully Desai will bring back is we can, and I'm not giving Eddie Jackson a pass because we've ripped Eddie Jackson substantially, but he's playing out of position. He was playing out of position for Pagano. So, maybe if he needs to have everything in front of him. Like the amount of times that you would see Pagano line Eddie Jackson up on the line, I was just like, what are you that's pointless.
I don't have any confidence right now in Desai. Dude's never called a game. He's a Mel Tucker disciplist, and then he hung around with Vic. Like, we don't know what this dude's about. Like, like you said, your own position group, Eddie got soft under Desai.
So I think the opposite. Me personally, I like Desai. I like the idea of Desai, I should say.
Right, because we don't know really what he is.
No, we don't.
It's the idea. I like the fact that, first and foremost, he knows all these players. He's not coming in day one on install, having to install his defense with players that he needs to figure out. Number 2, he's more of a Vic Fangio disciple, which is get your pressure with your down 4 and is going from back to front. Your coverage is important. You feel me? And number 3, he's gonna put his DBs at an advantageous situation at all times. I think last year or the last couple of years, I think the DBs have had a lot of pressure one way or another. On top of that, too, I hear that he was a big factor in in Mac. So if you can decide the necessary pass rush, I think he's going to be good. On top of that, too, we let Brandon Staley walk out, and he did numbers. He did numbers for that Rams defense. So it's a lot of times you got to build organically. You feel me? And that's why I like the Desai move.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm hopeful for Desai. I'm hopeful for Desai.
He said, "I like Desai." He worked alongside Vic. Pagano worked alongside Vic too.
So did Jay Rogers. I mean, like, I don't want. Hold on, real quick. I don't want Desai to be them chasing, because this is what I feel like the Bears are constantly doing. They're chasing past success. They're chasing decent. Like, they're trying desperately to recapture 2018, and we've talked about this. 2018 was an anomaly. So I don't know. I don't know what Desai's going to do.
Has Raul done his victory lap for Robert Quinn yet? That's what I want to know.
No, because I'm sad.
Right, because Raul was one of the few that was all over Robert Quinn not being a good fit, Robert Quinn being a one-trick pony, Robert Quinn basically, like, Robert Quinn to me is like
Leonard Floyd.
Robert Quinn is like a wide receiver playing defensive end. Like, if he doesn't get off in the first few, series, he's not going to get off the whole game. Like, it's like he'll pout and he'll lose interest. And I mean, like, you just see, and it's like, oh, he's hurt. And I'm like, okay, I guess he's hurt. I don't know, but he doesn't look interested. I know that much. Like,
the thing with Robert Quinn is he's 30 or 31 right now. This is who he is. If he's truly hurt, even if he's hurt, a 31-year-old doesn't get better with injury. They get worse. Right. You feel me? You just paid $74 million for a third down rusher. He's never been a good run defender. He's never been a physical person, a physical player. So now he's lacks physicality and he's lost a step. And you're paying $74 million for this. Like, you should have been able to see this a mile away. You don't pay those type of players.
But Barcavius Mingo outplayed his ass.
Dude,
like
Khalil Mack's had injuries the last 2 years too, and like you said, that you
Yep.
start getting over that 30 hump.
Right.
Yep.
But at least Khalil, I mean, is producing in the metrics. I mean, like he may not be getting the back of the football card stats, but at least he's impacting the game.
Yes.
Robert Quinn is impacted the game negatively, like you said he would do. Because if you have a guy who's going to do nothing but try to bull rush on the edge around you, like you can just scheme against that so easily.
Would you take Aaron Lynch or Robert Quinn?
Aaron Lynch, because Aaron Lynch is actually cheap.
Well, yeah, but now Aaron Lynch was a walking penalty. I wouldn't fucking take Aaron.
I understand that, but I don't think people understand how debilitating Robert Quinn's contract is. Like Robert Quinn,
you can get out of it after next season. It's a 2-year deal. There's some dead money.
That's still, even if you get out of it
Somebody's
next
gonna
season,
take it.
you still have to pay at least $6 to $8 million in dead cap that you could spread over 3 years. That's still a lot of money, and not to consider this offseason. He's stopping us. Imagine you can't franchise Allen Robinson because of Robert Quinn.
Oh, it's trash. I mean,
how deep of a wound that is. You feel me? Like, it's horrible. It's a horrible contract.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and it's this season too. I mean, they're looking at probably having to cut Jimmy Graham. They're going to have to hopefully maybe extend Akeem, on a new 2-year deal or a 3-year deal. Extend Fuller. That's most realistic. And then you're gonna have to cut You're gonna have to cut Massey, and you're gonna have to see if you can draft. That's what I would do. Is I would pick up Minshew. I would do all those cuts I just said. I would draft a tackle at 20 or Kyle Pitts if he's there.
Let's ask the impregnator. If your Bears are stuck at 20, who are you picking at the 20th spot? Who is the best value on the board at 20?
So, I'm not going to get long-winded, but I love when teams are picking between like 17 to like 30, 32. Because you literally are at the mode where you're like, man, I can't believe this guy fell to me. And I'm good enough right now that I could take this player at any position because they're the best player and he can make an immediate impact. That's why a lot of the players that are drafted in that area are always successful. So I would take the best player available. So if Pitts is there, it's not. I don't even want to talk. Like, it shouldn't take more than 5 seconds, right? If Jalen Waddle is there, you run to that podium. If Kwity Paye is there, which a lot of Bears fans are going to be like, oh my God, not more defense. I would take Kwity Paye. Kwity Paye next to Khalil Mack would be unfair.
Who is that? I don't even know who that is.
Kwity Paye is the edge rusher from Michigan.
Okay.
He's about 6'4", 260 pounds, rumored to be running like a 4.6 40. Great hands, great burst. You talk about a run defender that will smack you in the mouth. He'll smack you in the mouth and he'll get to that QB as well. He's more like he plays like Justin Houston. You feel me? I would take Kwity Paye in a heartbeat. And then in the second round, because this draft is so deep at tackle, you could get you a starting tackle in the second round.
Okay.
A day one starting tackle. So I would take literally position would be out of the window. I would take the best available player at number 20.
Chicago would go nuclear if it was a defensive player.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Their fans are stupid.
Yes, we are stupid as fuck.
Correct.
But here's the thing is that, like, everybody's like, oh, they're lame ducks, they're lame ducks, they're lame ducks. They're not lame ducks. Like, I don't understand how you don't understand this organization and these fucking losers that are running it. These dudes have at least 2 more years left on their contract, and they're going to get those 2 years as long as they can just bob along. Like, this idea that they're on the plank and Ted Phillips is Captain Hook, like, it's just not reality. Like, and we don't really want that to be reality. Like, what we would actually want is for them to feel comfortable. Because if you're gonna double down on these guys, you don't do it for one season because the team is not that close. Like,
who's Tinkerbell in that scenario? By the way, that's all I want to know.
bro, Virginia probably flying around like a creepy little decrepit Tinkerbell. Hey, I'm mad at the Packers. Fucking, like everybody clap.
Somebody give me my teeth.
Yeah, like I'm just saying, like
I'm looking at Twitter, man. All these like Watson at 3 from 2017 tweets are being retweeted right now from Bears fans.
I love that guy. Whatever happened to my man Watson at 3? He was like the greatest Bear fan. Like, and no matter what the conversation was, we could be conversing about politics. He would interject and say Watson at 3. When they picked Trubisky, I think my man had literally exploded, and I ain't seen him since. I think he blocked everybody.
I would have.
Bears Twitter is like fully convinced that we can politic this guy here. Like,
they're sending soliloquies.
This is what I'll say. Chicago has a shot, a more realistic shot than what people think. This is the reason, and honest to God reason. The Bears, there is respect for Matt Nagy as being a player's coach, right? That's one thing. Matt Nagy is a player's coach. Supposedly, Matt Nagy has some sort of relationship with Watson before he even got drafted because Nagy loved Watson, right? Chicago is a big market, right? I knew New York, but not as big. And the fact of if Watson wants to be great, he can win a title in Chicago. It's going to take him a lot longer to win a title in New York. If Watson is like, yo, I'm trying to get this championship in this bag, Chicago makes sense.
Oh, that's the thing.
Okay, so let me ask you this, though. Next season, so let's just say that they go for 3 first-rounders, which isn't – our picks suck, so it's not going to happen. But let's just say the Texans are like, cool, Bears, give us 3 first-rounders. That's it. We don't touch the roster. Deshaun Watson has a $10.5 million cap hit next season. It's not that crazy. So you franchise Allen Robinson because now you're all in, right? You pay Allen Robinson $18 million. You restructure, yada yada yada. Like I said, then you draft a tackle in the second round. You draft Kyle Pitts. Let's say Kyle Pitts falls to us. We now have a tackle that you can plug in when you cut Massey. You have Kyle Pitts. You have Allen Robinson. You have Darnell Mooney. Maybe Anthony Miller sticks around, even though George tried to cut his ass.
Tackle from Notre Dame might be there in the second, too.
Yeah, right. Eichenberg, Hefe saying in the chat, Notre Dame homers love some Eichenberg. But what? That's a squad. Like, I mean, this is me juicing up on the Kool-Aid. Like, but if that shit were to go down, just so unlikely. But the trump card to all of it, and I don't believe this, but I'm saying the trump card to all of it is if Deshaun somehow says, yes, I need to be in Chicago for whatever reason, he holds the trump over, so the Texans are going to be sitting there going, well, we have this offer from the Jets. He doesn't want to go to the Jets. We have this offer from Miami, which really he would want to go to. But for the purposes of this discussion, he doesn't want to go there. Now they're sitting there like, well, let's just get our 3 firsts from Chicago and move on, right? And we end up with a squad. I mean, that's a 10-win squad, right? 11.
I mean, how many under 30 great quarterbacks are there in the NFC? See, the AFC is pretty loaded with young, talented quarterbacks. Like,
right.
The NFC is, I think, an easier path for him to get to the big game.
Right. He doesn't have to beat Mahomes. Go ahead, Ro.
I think that if Deshaun Watson wants to come to Chicago and Chicago just has a couple of tweaks, Chicago is a top 3 NFC team, hands down. I think Chicago overtakes a team like the Saints.
We could have overtaken them this year.
I think Green Bay. Yeah, Green Bay. Chicago was right there with Green Bay. I think it's a dogfight on paper. But let's say Champ Kelly gets hired, right? Champ Kelly gets hired, you get an extra third round pick. Now you have 2/3. You're gonna have to trade this year's first and probably this year's second. So you have 2/3. You can still get a tackle, right? And then you can get some more weapons for Deshaun Watson. And that's more realistic, right?
Mm-hmm.
You still need to solve your edge rusher situation. So maybe you could dip somewhere in free agency, possibly with a restructures. And now, you loaded up the offense for Deshaun Watson. You got another wide receiver, maybe another tight end, a tackle. You're ready to go.
Right.
You're like, it's game time. Like, you're really ready to go. You could be an easily top 3, NFC team.
So that's what they're chasing.
I mean, it would be scary.
But here's the thing: is that I also believe that scenario is reasonable to accomplish acquiring Derek Carr, because we know that you're not going to have to throw that much at them. He's probably gettable for a first round pick.
Maybe not even.
I would not. Yes, if I'm the Bears, I go to John Gruden and say, hey, here's a second this year, conditional third next year. What's up?
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. I was kind of looking back on the Cutler trade just to see how the players that they got fared. I can see where this trade makes sense now. Denver blew the draft. They had Robert Ayers over Clay Matthews. They picked Alfonso Smith instead of Earl Thomas, and Richard Quinn in the 3rd round.
Well, see, that's the thing, is that first round picks are far from guarantees. That's the fucking thing. So I agree with what Raul is saying. You don't want to mortgage your future like that, but
at the same time,
at the same time, first round picks are far from.
When have we had a legit franchise quarterback?
Right,
dude. I'm telling you straight up. I would absolutely love it if they got Deshaun, even if we never won a Super Bowl. I would be happy, because I'm not going to stop rooting for this team, even though I fucking should, but I'm not. So let me see Deshaun Watson run around and tear it up. Even if we never win a Super Bowl, I would be so happy with that than this other shit, because the game is over defense. The game is tired of defense. The game has moved on. It's not... they don't want tackling anymore. They don't want helmet to helmet. They don't fucking care about defense. So we're over here trying to run some, Dick Butkus bullshit. I don't want to see that anymore. I want to see a badass quarterback in a Bears uniform. And literally, I don't care if they lose.
But don't break now anyway.
Right. I don't care if we got Deshaun Watson. I don't care if they lost every game 38-35. I would be hyped for a little while.
Yeah, you would.
Because I just want to see something. You know what I mean? I want to see a Bears quarterback do some
would
shit.
not want to listen to that shit for 16 weeks. I'd be like, just fucking shoot me.
No way. If Deshaun was tearing it up every week and he had 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns, you would be hyped. I wouldn't even. Put that in my veins.
Man, my thing is this, and I've talked about it on Twitter. My thing is this. I'm really knowing that the Bears organization is a terrible organization, right? Mm-hmm. So, with it being a terrible organization, they're all. And I know it sounds so cliche in Chicago, and I hate when people say it. They're all worried about their bottom line, right? So, to pacify Bear fans, they would go all in for Deshaun Watson. And for the next 10 years we tried. We got Deshaun Watson. This is the same thing. They didn't do anything else. Yeah,
bro.
Exactly. We collaborated. They didn't do anything else. It was just Jay Cutler.
Right.
Everything's going to rest on Deshaun Watson. And man, that pressure in Chicago is different, bro. That pressure hit different in Chicago.
Right.
The whole thing. They will turn on Deshaun so quick, it wouldn't even be funny. And it wouldn't be Deshaun, it would be the ineptness of this organization. You feel me?
But even if we had the number one offense in the league, if we flipped it and we had and we were tearing it up, you think Bears fans? I think he would be a sensation.
Ask a Canadian. about having a great offense.
Well, trust me, yeah, but like trust me, that shit wasn't fun though. That was like
no, it sucked, didn't it?
It started getting fun. I mean, look, me personally, and people are gonna say I'm old school, this, that, and the other. I don't think you can win in Chicago consistently or win the big title having an offense that just blows everybody away. I think once again it goes back to the field, it goes back to the weather. You need a defense in Chicago because that is what is going to win November, December.
You need all of it.
Field, you do. But if I had to pick, it would be defense because the terrain in Chicago is complete trash. Like the field moves.
But we were talking about this. Kansas City is multiple. They have the best quarterback in the game. Oh, and they have a defense that can beat you if need be. And they picked up Honey Badger. And they went out and got Frank Clark. And they said, sorry, defensive coordinator, whoever you were, we're going and we're getting Spagnuolo. And we're flipping everything. Because we got close, but we didn't get there. They never stopped getting every single thing. They have every aspect. And people try to say, defense doesn't win championships. Yes, the fuck it does. It does. It just does it in different ways. The defense can give up 30 points in today's game and still be the reason you won the game because the other team, you scored 35. Like, it's different now. Yeah. But you still need the defense to make plays when it counts.
I think Mahomes might be in trouble because his two starting tackles out. Like,
yeah, the Kansas City offensive line is in shambles right now. Like, I mean, don't think that this Tampa defensive line is not going to do some things. I mean,
their two linebackers are insane too, man. Like,
and say what you will. I mean, we got off on the Super Bowl now, but say what you will. There's something about Brady. There's just something about dude. Like
he's all right. He's all right.
Like, but like it's just there's just something about him where it's like if you give him a little bit of daylight, it's a wrap. Like, you know.
No, I understand that, but
cold killer.
My thing is, I mean, right now, there's not a defense built that can stop Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. It's not even Mahomes. I'm not taking it away from Mahomes. Mahomes is Mahomes. He's great. Kelce and Hill are unstoppable.
Right.
You don't have an answer. You don't have enough athletes on one team to stop those two guys. So good luck.
Right. They get so open. Like, it's stupid how open they are. And you're right. That's not to downgrade Mahomes, but he literally is throwing to dudes that have nobody around them for 2 yards, 3 yards.
Yes.
Like, it's crazy. Like,
Kansas City.
Huh?
Mitch is going to Kansas City.
To do what? To sell hot dogs?
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck?
Mahomes jerseys.
Yeah, the only big contract that Mitch is going to sign this offseason is that fat ring he just put on his girl. Like,
somebody's going to sign him. Somebody's going to sign him.
The Falcons.
Yeah, possible. Somebody's going to sign him to a 1 year, $10 million contract.
Right. Like, I just think, you know, at this point, everything that's breaking the way it's breaking with all these veteran quarterbacks becoming available is not good for Mitch at all. Like, there was a minute where you looked at the list of free agent contracts and you actually said, oh, Mitch is actually kind of okay on this list, right?
You think that popping that ring on her was definitely strategic. He's like, I'm about to be obsolete. Better get it while I can.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Maybe her family has some money. He's trying to get a different kind of contract or something. I don't know. He's down on the list. Like, you know, there was a minute where Bears fans were convincing themselves, and we even did it a little bit, that he should come back. Like, you can't sell me that now. Like,
see. My thing is, like, I didn't want Mitch to come back. I just thought Mitch would come back because of how bad this front office is. But the playoff game and the game against Green Bay was, you know, like, okay, this is exactly who Buddy is. Like, he's trash. That's all he
Right.
is. He's trash.
Right. Well, he has a cheat code against him that's too easy to do. Like when a good defense shows up and a good coordinator, they can just beat him. They just have him measured, and it's just what we talked about. It's like, and the problem is that he no longer has any kind of fearlessness when it comes to running. He's like, and I don't know if it's because he has no contract or he's worried about his shoulders or just whatever. But he's not like who he used to be in terms of running with the football.
My fear is we're gonna end up with Darnold or Garoppolo or something like that.
I think Garoppolo's a real possibility because of the connection. Yeah, he sucks, but I guarantee you that the connection between Ryan Pace going to Eastern Illinois, Garoppolo having gone to Eastern Illinois, Hefe says Tebow Jr. We've been calling him Tebowski since what 2000?
Yeah.
18, I started calling him Tebowski.
Yep.
But he doesn't have Mitch is, that's what I'm saying. It's like, but Garoppolo, don't think because the 49ers are going to cut him. That's not a question. He's cut because they're going to save $25 million by cutting him. So that's not even a question. He's cut. Even if they have to
we talk about Watson. Why wouldn't Watson want to go play for Kyle Shanahan over the Bears?
Well, but also, because people are saying that the Stafford to San Francisco is like all but done. I've seen that.
Which domino do you think falls first?
Stafford.
Really?
Stafford?
Because he's the easiest one to acquire.
Actually, I can see Houston trying to hold Deshaun till training camp to try to make it right.
Yep.
No, because and also if you look at a lot of the contracts, like a lot of them need that 6-1 designation to make things smoother on the team that's letting them go. So you're not really going to see that till after June. But Stafford, I think, can go now. And
I think Houston's going to roll the dice with Deshaun and try to charge him that, like, if he starts not showing up, he starts getting charged like what $50,000 or something.
Stafford to the Texans.
I don't see that happening.
Book it.
I can see Stafford. I can see Stafford on the Cowboys though if they don't sign Dak.
Well, and that's the crazy thing is that, like, why do people think that Houston's offensive line is good? Because they picked up Laramie Tunsil? Like,
yeah, and they're great.
I know that the knock on Deshaun, if there can be one, is that he kind of runs himself into sacks occasionally, and he holds onto the ball too much and takes hits when he shouldn't because he's trying to get the big play. But imagine if he's not pressing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, imagine if he has the confidence to have a defense that he knows can hold it down. He's not going to play like that. Like, right now, I think Watson plays like a home run hitter a lot because he feels like he has to hit home runs every time he's on the, and he doesn't have, he doesn't have DeAndre Hopkins anymore. He still killed it without DeAndre Hopkins, but what Hopkins still was that home run threat, like that. Deshaun could just throw it up there, and Hopkins was going to come down with it, and he didn't have that. And I think that changed a lot. Because it's not like they were really running the ball before, but I just think it's funny that like everybody says, "Oh, he's not going to have that offensive line like he has in Tech." Like what? They don't have a great offensive line.
I would say that ours is as good, if not better.
Yeah.
It's close. It's not that far off.
Up the middle, I'd say it's way better. With Mustafa now taking that center spot, you're going to get better with white hair at the guard.
Right.
And James Daniels at the other guard, you're going to get a lot better. Leno's
going to get better at Nagy if Deshaun Watson's here. He's going to be able to do more.
Well, that's what's crazy. Go ahead.
The one thing I'll say about Deshaun Watson is he needs those fast wide receivers, like because of his ability to improv. You got Mooney, but you got to add to it. Right. You're gonna have to add to it anyways. But if you get Deshaun Watson, you want to add more explosive players. Like you want to add those speedy wideouts, on the outside. And even maybe a tight end that can actually run NFL routes.
And this is one of the things that I think is one of the biggest problems
that's the thing too. Though if we don't sign A-Rob, we could bring in two $9 million receivers with speed. You know what I mean?
You know what? No, never. I would never not sign A-Rob. That's not even if you.
But this is what I was just gonna say though: is what if he doesn't want to come back here? Like he may have it in his mind that like I'm not coming back here to play for Nick Foles again or whoever bum ass quarterback because like dude has never even had a good quarterback in his career, and he's put up crazy numbers with Blake Bortles and Mitch Trubisky.
Kyle put
Nick
my dude
Foles.
in the chat. That's who I was hinting at. Corey Davis.
Right, so, okay, fine. I like Corey Davis. I like Demarcus Robinson. I like Marvin Jones. I don't, none of them are Allen Robinson. Now, two of them maybe, but my thing is that's the biggest issue is that we just assume that Allen Robinson wants to come back at all. I don't think he does.
I mean, but that's the beauty of NFL contracts is you can tag them.
Right, but then you are going to get hit for.
I think you want to be here if we had Deshaun. No
you're going to get yes, but I'm saying without that. Like I'm saying, like let's say that we're talking about Minshew and a draft pick. they end up trading up. Like the other route is that they have to trade up. Like let's say that. Fields
you would
falls.
You would love Minshew here.
What if Fields falls to 10?
Yes. Yes.
And then you trade up. You trade your second round pick, your first round pick, your second round pick, and a second next year to move up from 20 to 10. That might not be enough, but it might be.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
Right. So that's another thing that could play out. It's like, and they have to have plans for all that shit. They have to have the Deshaun plan. They have to have the Carr plan. They have to have the, the Trey Lance plan that, yada, yada, yada. Like, I think if you're at 20, you take do you take Mac Jones at 20, Raul, if he's there?
I just don't think he's the best thing for Chicago. And I hate to say it, I just don't see him having optimal success with this roster. So
Trey Lance?
Somebody, yes. You play bully ball all day. I think if you have Trey Lance, you're not gonna want to play 4 quarters with Trey Lance and David Montgomery. You're not gonna want to do it because your defense is going to get bruised.
Do you think anybody else of worth is there at 20 besides Lance? I mean, do you think Lance is there at 20?
I think the Patriots are swooping before we did.
Yeah, I think the only quarterback that will possibly get past number 12 is Mac Jones.
But I think the Patriots take Mac Jones they have 14, or don't they 13 or 14?
He would work in the Belichick.
Right. But don't you think Mac Jones is a Belichick type of guy?
Yeah, I think right there. I mean, I think that Washington also right there creeping. So I think Washington would take him. I also think that don't be surprised if Gruden comes up and is like, yo, I'm taking my QB right now.
Well, I could see him coming up for a guy like Fields or Lance. I could see Gruden.
Exactly.
Because those are dudes that have that arm.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm totally biased against Zach Williams because he's such a fucking like church camp goober. And I know it's like, oh, he took 2 girls to prom. He's such a stud. It's like, okay, he's fucking Zach from Saved by the Bell. Like,
if we can get an upgrade veteran, I'd still like to see us try to get Newman in here just to develop him.
That's just what I was going to say. I wonder where a kid like him falls.
3rd round?
2nd or 3rd?
Well, see, that's a thing that you do if you get
Wake Forest.
If you get a guy on a 2-year deal. So that's the other scenario. Okay, so let's say we get Garoppolo 2 years.
Not Garoppolo,
Oh,
no.
God.
Like
No,
if you get
okay,
Carr,
just-
get Carr in here and take Newman in the draft.
But I don't think they'll do that.
If you get Carr, then you're set. You don't really
Right.
draft.
If you get Carr, you have to get talent around him. You don't draft
Yeah.
Newman.
I mean,
Like-
Newman. I think Newman could easily go in the 4th, 5th round. I'm gonna be, and I was advocating for him last year. I think Jamie Newman is gonna have a learning curve because his vision as far as the QB is not there. You know, like he's a developmental quarterback, like really, really developmental. You know, so I think he'll be there in the 4th.
What about? And I guess he went back to school. But what about the Cincinnati dude? Is he a dude that next year will be a top 5 pick? The
No.
Cincinnati QB? No.
No. Desmond Ritter, no. The
No.
one that I would watch out for next year, the two that I will watch out for is Slovis out of USC and the kid out of Georgia, the one that went to USC. What's his name? God, he has an arm out of this world. Yeah, Spencer Rattler as well, and my man from UNC. Yeah, so those are the 4, but there's some quarterbacks next year as well.
Well, see, so that's the thing is like, what if you get a guy like, because again, I think they're safe. I don't think they have to hit a home run this offseason the way everybody thinks they do. I think they can just.
I think Carr would fire this team up, man. Carr is Max boy.
But you could also sell hope with some stability on top of it. So, like, let's say maybe you get a Tyrod Taylor or Jacoby Brissett, and then you make a certain segment of the fan base happy, right? I'm thinking about this as a business. Like, this is business. So we make a segment of the fan base happy by bringing in Tyrod Taylor or Jacoby Brissett. They're very high character guys, stabilize the position, go 9-7, 8-8. Then you draft a quarterback.
I think Teddy would fit in better with Nagy than Brissett.
Tyrod?
No, I think Teddy Bridgewater would be better than Brissett for Nagy.
But I don't think Teddy's going anywhere.
I feel like Teddy got exposed this year a little bit, like to some degree. Like I think what you saw is that he's a guy.
Rumor that Watson's considering Carolina. That's why I brought that up.
Right. There's a lot of buzz around Carolina right now for Watson.
So this is what I'll say. During 2015, 2016, I spent for work. I was in Greenville, South Carolina. Greenville, Clemson, Spartanburg area, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, Deshaun Watson is a deity there, right? He is literally a god there. Like, I can't emphasize that enough. So Carolina makes sense because that's literally right there. Like, you have Clemson fans that are going to be driving. They don't even like NFL football, but they will drive to watch Deshaun Watson. Their practice is in Spartanburg, which is literally an hour away from Clemson. They would drive up there. So money-wise, it makes sense for you to go all in. Plus,
they're so dark horse. They're a total dark horse to get him, I think.
Yeah. And what's his name? Joe Brady's offense with Deshaun Watson, stupid. They'll do numbers.
It would be bananas.
They'll do numbers. Yeah, so that makes total sense, but does Deshaun Watson, and they have those offensive weapons. Like, my God, you talk about Moore, Robbie Anderson, Curtis McCaffrey. Good luck defending that. Good luck, but that makes sense.
But they don't have the defense.
They can build it at that point.
You think?
You go on balls to the wall offense. They have some defensive pieces, but then they have cap money. So
what do they have to give up? If they have to give up 3 first-rounders, should Carolina do it? I don't know.
They're gonna give up 2 first-rounders.
Okay.
They got the number 8 pick.
Right. That's a lot more valuable than 20.
Exactly. And if they wanted to really get funky, which I would not advise it. But how about I'm giving you a first, a second, and McCaffrey. Because what that does is McCaffrey's money is off the books. You saw that you could replace McCaffrey, not really replace him, but you had because
yeah, but I'd be worried about that because they just signed McCaffrey. I think McCaffrey's dead cap hit might be monster.
See, the things I'm hearing are out of some reporter out of Carolina, man. They're saying that if the Panthers, basically hinting that if the Panthers brought Cam back as a backup and let him retire a Panther, Deshaun would have a lot of respect for that. And I don't know how close they are or anything, but
I would say that I would believe that they're close because Deshaun is also a Georgia boy. You feel me? And Cam spends a lot of his time, like most of all of his time, in Atlanta because that's where he's from. So I would think that they do have some sort of relationship, you know. So and I think that would be like as far as morale and fanship, I think that Greenville, Charlotte area, they would sell tickets like you wouldn't believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but it's up to Deshaun. Does Deshaun think that he can win a chip with them right away, or is it going to take 2 or 3 years? The offense.
Wow, you know what? That's crazy. Like I was just looking at McCaffrey. If they do a post 6-1 trade on him, he's only a $4.3 million cap hit this season.
Yep.
Now it spreads a lot more like that. It's 13 and 22 and 8. 13 and 22. But for this year, dang, that's sneaky. They could do that.
And they can load up on the defense. You know, like load up on your defense and get ready to rock.
Right. And like honestly, like the chances of the McCaffrey contract working out well are nil. Like,
yeah, because of his injuries.
Like if you could sell high on McCaffrey at this point, you have to do it. Like it sucks to say that because dude is, you know, obviously a dynamic player, but like at this point, like the chances of him regaining that are just non-existent. Like I think, like he can still be a productive player, but he's not gonna be like he was. Like this, you know, he was like, you know, like on the LaDainian Tomlinson almost level, and I just don't think he can get back to that.
I think that their ability to supplement him with, and they got lucky with Curtis Samuel and what's my boy's name that we had Michael, the running back we had
Mike Davis.
Davis, yeah.
Yeah, they were able to not miss too much because of Samuel's just being a complete athletic freak, you know.
Right.
So I mean, you put that with Deshaun, Robinson, Moore. If you want to get a damn tight end, that offense is scary. That's a monstrous offense. But I mean, I can make a case for every single team. Like the Jets, you want to start with, you know, Salah, who everybody loves. You go into a big market, so you're going to increase your margins on your contract. Miami has a culture like you wouldn't believe. Who the hell wouldn't want to be in South Beach, right? And like you said, no state income tax, right? I mean, each one.
Right, and they already have a 10-6 squad. Like,
yep.
And people are like, "Oh, they're not going to give up on Tua." It's like they already gave up on Tua twice this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Tua's small. That's the thing about Tua is he looks and he plays small to me. That's what tripped me out about him is I was not ready for him to look so small. I don't know why, but doesn't he just look like I don't know. Like I feel like maybe it's the left-handedness that's freaking me out too. Like I just look at him and I go, "Oh, that's not gonna work." Like something about watching him play, I just go, "No." Like and you know. Like I just don't know if
he's calm.
And
I mean, the more we talk about it, the more we fantasize about Watson in Chicago. But I would say the things that are working against Chicago is management, the weather, and that's it. But what's working for Chicago is legendary status. Somebody like Khalil Mack, and you have somebody like A-Rob and Mooney and David Montgomery. Like it's seamless, you know. And if you want to win the title, Chicago probably Chicago probably presents to you your best chance.
Well, and see, that's
Chicago
what you're hoping for is you give up.
You
give up the 3. Go ahead, Brian.
Factor in a healthy Tariq Cohen with that too.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Like absolutely.
Right.
Like I mean, if you really and if he still believes that Matt Nagy is an offensive genius, like you could talk him into it. Like I mean, if they're Chicago sports fans are deities, especially in football. I mean, we still hold Jim McMahon, who was an absolute bum, at the highest level, and he was a
15
bum.
touchdowns, 12 picks. That was a Super Bowl year.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's what you're selling is that, like, people talk about Nagy and Pace are desperate. Maybe it's George and Ted are desperate. Like, they basically are clinging to Nagy and Pace and going, like, we're stupid. We don't know what to do. You guys have to help us. Like, we're really going to lose. We're really going to lose the unshakable market share that we've built up. And they like the fact that Pace has them looking like a respectable organization because they don't know, they've never known how to build that. Like, even when they've won, they've still been kind of like, there's been a low rent quality to the whole situation.
George on Twitter, he goes, the only thing that could stop a Deshaun Watson trade to the Bears is Robin Hood.
Robin. Yeah. Right. They're gonna be like, Ted's gonna want to pay people in Dogecoin or whatever the fuck. Like, so that's the dream. Is you cling to that and you say, okay, yeah, we have to give up 3 first rounders. That sucks. But what's gonna make that happen is if Deshaun wants it. Deshaun has to want to force that shit. And that's still a hard sell for me to believe. Yeah.
If I'm Nagy, I would tell Deshaun Watson, like, I don't know if you guys watched the movie Troy. That's like one of my favorite movies. Mm-hmm. Right? Remember when Achilles was pondering if he was going to go to Troy for the war. And he went and talked to his mother, and his mother told him, if he stays, he's gonna live, and his kids are gonna remember him, and his kids after that, and his kids after that are gonna remember him, and after that, nobody's ever going to remember him again. But if he goes to Troy, yeah, he might die, but he's always gonna be in the history books forever. And that's my pitch to Deshaun Watson. If you go to, Carolina or New York or Miami, yeah, they'll love you. They'll love you this year. They'll love you next year. They'll love you 10 years after you retire. But if you win in Chicago, you're gonna have a restaurant named after you. You probably have a street named after you.
Well, he's got a restaurant chain too.
You're gonna be a legend forever. Exactly. That's the thing. Like, you're gonna be a legend that, like, there's only New York can maybe contend to that. Miami likes their football. They don't love their professional football. Carolina likes their football. They don't love it to the depths of Chicago.
Right. The only people that got made legends in Miami are Marino and like Zach Thomas.
There is another thing that like McCaskey or Nagy could say. There's another movie that comes to mind. Don't be a menace to the South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. Man, I'll suck your dick.
Oh yeah, Bear Twitter is definitely on that. Like, wow, fucking calling up the Texans like, how much for half a Deshaun?
You got that Deshaun?
Pour some Deshaun in this cup. Let me hold my hands out and get a little bit of Deshaun in my hands. Like, how much for half a Deshaun? Come on.
George will be the first one out there.
he is pushing hard. I gotta give him credit.
Yeah,
bro. George is like, he even hit up the Texans and said, as a Houston native, I'll no longer be a fan if you bring back Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, exactly.
Chicago.
People are wildly.
That guy's issues.
George, dude. I don't even. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, the George U on Twitter is the wildest follow. Like, you don't know if that dude is serious. You don't know if he's trolling. Like, oh my, like he just.
What if I tell you it's all of that in one?
I know it is.
He's seriously trolling.
He's serious, but he's trolling. It's like it's all in one.
It's all of it.
It don't matter. It's all of it. It's all the man ain't all up there.
Bro, I had to mute him today because he was pissing me off. I was like, I can't take it. Like, because sometimes I want to argue with him, and then I'm like, I know you're fucking trolling me right now, but I don't care. I'm gonna fight anyway.
I think he's funny as hell, man.
Oh yeah,
is he really trolling? Like sometimes, like you don't even know because he's really serious, but he's trolling. But
you're right.
He's got his Twitter chicanes.
It's not a lie if you believe it, right?
Exactly.
And I believe, that he believes everything he's fucking tweeting, you know. And then he's got Alvaro, and he's got Dustin hanging out on the side, like fucking gassing him up, like, and we gas him up from our handle and we always gas him up, like we
you put our ass in fucking Twitter jail.
That was stupid. That had nothing to do with George, but you know, I mean, we do. You never know. We did. I mean, there was that thread where like he got people from all sides going upside down over some shit, like. Because he came with that as a lifelong fan, and then people are like, "Wait, what?" And then they don't even know what. Like, he gets people ensnared in some craziness.
Speaking of legendary Twitter shit, you got any like pandemic stories from Raul?
Oh, I don't know what. I don't have any pandemic stories. I don't think.
Story time with Raul.
Oh, I don't think I got any. I've been good. I've been staying at the crib. I ain't did nothing. I'm trying to stay safe.
Wow, smart.
That's it. No stories.
No strip club. I mean, but everything's been cool for you during all this in the throes of all this.
As cool as it's going to be, I'm very, and I'll make a public service announcement. I'm very disappointed in people for not taking this as serious as it should be, or they should take it. I don't think it's tangible to a lot of people because they haven't seen themselves or their loved ones suffer from this, pandemic. So, but I just would applaud people to actually take this damn thing serious. You feel me?
Yeah, it sucks, dude. It sucks.
Yeah, it's trash, man. It's trash. You go into a hospital, man. You go into a hospital and it's like every single floor is COVID. Like every floor. Like it's crazy. But I guess. But no stories I can share. All
right, well, next time. Anyway, it's cool to have you on, man. We definitely want to get you on again soon, and we'll go over some draft knowledge because you always bring the actual research.
Yeah, we're not doing any of that.
Brian does a little bit. I pride myself on having super strong opinions with as little research as possible.
Right. I'm just gonna say Michael Penix next year, baby.
Like my goal is basically to Cliff Notes draft knowledge from Twitter, just skim it, and then see if I can form that into a really strong opinion, and then hope that it's correct. I just piggyback off.
I'm here.
That's what I'm saying. So I just piggyback off all your knowledge, Raul, is basically what I'm saying. I'm going to plagiarize you. I was like, yeah, Darnell Mooney. I knew who he was. I'm like, yeah.
Do another funny. That's what Bears Twitter is right now. I'm no lie. Everybody knew about Darnell Mooney before the draft. When actually they didn't, but that's
right. When nobody knew who the fuck dude was, we're googling his ass. Oh my god, he played against Auburn. That was cool. We're fake as.
I remember I did my write up on him, and it got no retweets. It got no hits on it. And then the Bears drafted him, and people were like, "Oh my god, you were talking about it." I'm like, "Yeah." And then all of a sudden, everybody's a Darnell Mooney expert. I was like, "Okay, whatever, have it."
Well, that's what happens. I mean, that's why we're coming to you. That's why you're our draft expert.
I do have one question before you go. Does Kendall Vildor make Jalen Johnson expendable? Yes or no?
I don't think Jalen Johnson is I don't think Vildor is the reason. But with that said, if they say 2 first and Jalen Johnson, I say you do it.
I agree.
I say you do it.
You think he has that? You think he has that kind of value though? I mean, his shoulder is a question mark right now.
Hell yeah! I mean, he's a second
Maybe.
rounder. If nothing else, and he showed that he can play in this league. Houston desperately needs a corner, and why not add 2 first? A corner that could potentially be a number 1 with experience on a cheap contract in Lovie Smith's cover 2. He would be ideal.
I agree with you. His length makes him that way. He's not going to peanut punch.
Pause,
He's going to be more your.
Yeah, pause. Big pause.
Well,
Super pause. But yeah.
Bigger pause.
Pause. Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, I like him. I hope his shoulder's fine. I think he was a good pick. I think he'll also benefit. I mean, I know he's like he could play press and he's like the press specialist, but I feel like he's another guy that they would have him up on the line and he looked a little lost. And I just saw like time and time again from this defense, like they had so many problems passing off, running backs and tight ends to each other. You know what I mean? And
I don't want Buster Screen back on this team. I'll tell you that.
No, he's like that dude's probably gonna retire.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I hope he does.
Like he's terrible. Like I hope he's healthy and I hope he's fine after all these concussions. But like he can't come back on this team. He's terrible. Like, and that's honestly like what worries me about this coaching staff. And is like I don't think that they play the best players. They play like the players that fit in their weird little like cult that they have up there. You know, their little like club dub culture cult. Like. It's like clearly the best players are not playing a lot of the time, but it's like they're the ones that get along with crazy ass Mike Furry, and they're the ones that like can memorize all of Nagy's like little catchphrases that are on the walls and shit. Like, how could anybody be playing Rashad Coward with a straight face and telling me that's an NFL player?
Thank you.
Like you insult.
And what?
Yeah.
Just insulting.
And the real question is, and I'll be asking this: how does Mike Furry still have a job?
I don't know, because dude, like people were talking about him being a head coach candidate and shit.
Yeah.
That Mike Furry stands came out of the woodwork, and I was like, get out of here! Like Brian calls him steroids Matt Nagy or Hulk Matt Nagy, or like dude is a psycho.
I wanted him to bring back Mike Rowe.
Right.
I mean, literally anybody, but like it would be fine. Like I don't know what he does except for jump up and down and act like he was a totally average receiver. He's on steroids.
He seems like he'd be a great fit in Detroit.
He's all hyped up on, on some kind of, like motivational shit. And he's just a yeller. Like he's just a yeller.
And then I was done with him when he's been throwing Anthony Miller under the bus. Like, and it's like you as a wide receiver coach are supposed to pick these cats up. You haven't developed one wide receiver. There's not one wide receiver you can say you developed.
Let's ask the question: where do you stand on Anthony Miller?
I haven't changed. I think Anthony Miller can leave this team. I think Anthony Miller could be on this team and be a 1,200-yard wide receiver easily. I haven't changed that stance. Will not change.
You bring Deshaun Watson here, everything changes for Miller.
Yeah, if Miller just gets an offense that actually doesn't make him the scapegoat and lets him be himself, I think he'll be like a known commodity in this NFL.
But this is one of those things. I was just gonna say, like, don't you think that there's times where I've started to flip and think that Pace actually is drafting good talent and Nagy is fucking it up? Like, what do you think about that? Like, because I look at a guy like Miller and he should have worked. Like, Riley Ridley should have worked. Like, Cole Kmet should have worked a lot sooner. I know you're not a big Cole Kmet fan, but they could have got what they were getting out of him at the end of the year, at the beginning of the year. But no, Nagy had to go with his boy, Demetrius Harris, who
I think Kmet could be like a Kyle Rudolph eventually when he's fully developed.
But what I'm saying is that, like, I feel like Pace is getting Nagy talent, but he's not using it. Pace found Bars and Mustafa, and Nagy tried like hell to not play them. Like,
but I think that also goes on Pace, because as a GM, if I'm the person that oversees it, I run the football operation. So if there are players that are being, I mean, if you keep playing Rashard Coward and I'm the GM, I'm just gonna cut him on Monday. Problem solved. I'm not gonna shake my head. I'm gonna tell you one time, get this trash off the field. I should have never signed him when we're cutting him, and put this guy in. And if you don't do it, I'm just gonna cut him. It's just that simple.
So you think Anthony Miller's on this team next year?
Who?
Is Anthony Miller Chicago Bear next year?
Yes. His contract's too cheap. It's too friendly.
Yeah.
It's too friendly.
I mean, they only save $1 million. It's a $1.2 million contract. Like,
I think he's very much on the bubble.
It's not like that dude didn't deserve to be punched, man. Whatever. I know he was warned, but
let's not change though.
I think Chicago Bear fans, from what I've seen, and the Chicago Bears always want to have a scapegoat, right? We scapegoated Trubisky. Trubisky sucks. I'm not gonna lie, he's trash. But we scapegoated him to overshadow the ineptness of this organization from top to bottom. So now it's Trubisky. All we need to do is fix the quarterback position, and we're going to be a good franchise. No. Top to bottom, the franchise is trash. And until we solve that, we're trying to put bandages on blood wounds. So, and Anthony Miller's a scapegoat.
Right. Like, whenever these two dudes attack a problem, it creates more problems. Like, they attacked the kicker problem. They did not find a kicker until COVID provided them with a kicker. If COVID doesn't happen, they never even signed Cairo Santos back. The only reason we have a kicker is because of a fucking pandemic. So, like, those dudes couldn't find a kicker. They have put tons of resources and energy, and they have attacked the tight end position. Still can't get it right. They did a little bit better with it. Jimmy Graham wasn't like a complete bust of a pickup, but he wasn't a difference maker when it came down to it. Like the way they needed him to be. I mean, they're trying to be the Eagles. I mean, they gave up on being the Chiefs, so they're like, well, fuck it, maybe we can be the Eagles. Exactly. They couldn't do that. So then you took Anthony Miller off the field, and I've been very critical of Anthony Miller, but you took him off the field because now you're in 12 personnel all the time, and you're trying to run the ball. And people are like, well, why isn't Anthony Miller? Because he can't get on the field. And this is his fault, is that if he could be a willing blocker.
A better player.
Right. He lost his job to Mooney fair and square, but if he could be a better blocker, Miller could be Javon Wims, but he's not willing to do that. Like, he's not a willing blocker.
But Mooney plays a different position than Miller, and that's the thing. Like, the person that they're really supplementing Miller for is Cole Kmet and Jimmy Graham, and that's dumb. They're not the same player that Anthony Miller is. They're taking Miller off the field and bringing in an extra tight end, which is dumb in modern day football. So that's the right. And the reason that they started to have to do that is because of the bad choices they made on the offensive line. Like,
Jimmy Graham's not an answer there, though.
Right, but they failed to. They failed to get the offensive line in order, so you end up having to shore up the offensive line with heavy tight end personnel. But instead of getting
Miller could probably block better than Graham.
Yeah.
Oh, sure he could.
I could do.
Jimmy Graham doesn't block. Like, I mean, like he doesn't. Like, it's just not a thing. And we fought with Packer fans over it, but you see it live in person, you're like, oh, this dude doesn't want to block. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, he basically just goes out, runs the seam, and just stands there and is tall. Like that's what he does.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
And that's you. I mean, you kind of knew you were getting that, right? But the problem is you don't have an accurate enough quarterback for that.
I mean, Jimmy Graham is just not an efficient enough player in this NFL for you to keep putting trotting on the field. Jimmy Graham is in the beyond twilight of his
right, and he's going to get cut.
That's a lot of money there too.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he's going to get cut. I mean, but yes, I mean also that's ironically that could prevent you from bringing A-Rob back, or
it depends how much dead cap. I don't know how his contract's established, man. That could end up not being worth cutting.
It's not much. They can get out of it.
They can get out of it, but you just spent $9 million this past year. That $9 million could literally have been rolled over. And you would be in a lot better.
No, they needed to spend.
People like
they needed to spend the Robert Quinn money on offensive line, and like they didn't. Like,
but this is why A-Rob is mad. Like you can't blame A-Rob. Like if I'm Allen Robinson and my contract's coming up and I've been telling you I need a new contract and you give $9 million to Jimmy Graham to come in, I'm gonna be like, are you kidding me? I'm gonna be pissed.
Right, and then they shove it in his face by signing Tariq Cohen to a contract, which I don't necessarily have a problem with, but like the timing of that was just dick.
Yeah,
everybody's getting paid.
Right, and he's not like, oh, I just play for a cheap organization. It's like, no, they're not cheap. They're spending money on everybody but you, and they're hoping that you're going to give some hometown discount. And it's like, and he's sitting there going like, fuck that. Allen Robinson is going to go right up the road to Green Bay. You watch. He's already been chatting it up with Amos.
If Allen Robinson is allowed to be a free agent, I think he's going to get his $20 million easily.
Yes.
Chicago Bear fans were like, "Oh, we don't need to pay him $20 million." And he's gonna be like, "You're stupid," because like he's only gonna make we should only pay him $18 million because you're gonna lose a good player, a top 7 player at his position for a difference of $2 million because you want to sign bad players like Jimmy Graham.
Right, and it's because the way they've spent the money around him. There should be I have no problem with Allen Robinson as a $20 million receiver for this team, but not if he represents that, that level, that percentage of the total pay. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like, who is my quarterback in that scenario? Like, with my $20 million Allen Robinson? I don't know. And I don't know if, well, yeah, but I mean, that's just such a long shot. Like, and so I'm sorry. Like, as much as I can, we start talking about that. And my
Carr would light up A-Rob too, though.
Yeah, I mean, my stupid ass gets excited about that. Oh yeah, Carr would have A-Rob with like 120 catches.
All you gotta do is look at Amari Cooper's stats when he was a Raider.
Amari Cooper and what was the other dude that Carr used to throw to all the time? Can't even remember his name, but
Michael Crabtree.
Yeah, I mean, both those dudes drop a lot of passes. Like Allen Robinson with David Carr would have like 120 catches.
Yeah,
or Derek Carr.
Or Derek Carr.
Or Derek Carr.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that Allen Robinson with a serviceable quarterback I think people will realize he's a top 5 wide receiver in this NFL. Like serviceable. He has not seen one serviceable quarterback his entire.
Right. Imagine if he actually could run a route on the outside where he did not have to come back for some weird fucking back shoulder garbage. Like, what if he was actually led for a pass up the sideline for once in his life?
Oh, Mooney too, man.
Kyle Kowalczyk too says Carr sort of revived Nelson Aguilar's career this season. No doubt.
Absolutely he did.
Crazy.
And Gruden. But here's the thing is that the Raiders right now are built such that they could get away with a lesser quarterback and do what they're doing. I think they might give Mariota a shot.
Give me some Darren
Mariota
Waller.
came in. Darren Waller
Right.
killed too this year. But I mean, Mariota came in when Carr got hurt, and he balled out too. So that's what I'm saying. They could go with a rookie and Mariota. That's what I've been saying. Like from when the season ended, you know, and the Raiders are in cap. They have cap problems. They can get out of it, but they can save $20 million just by trading. You know,
right, and that's why. And so, like, you can't really tell me that even though as good of Carr is and his numbers were great, you can't tell me that they get that much worse if they put Mariota in. Like, they're just going to run the ball more.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're, what are you doing with Carr? Because you know, his contract's coming up, I think, in like 2 years.
Right.
He's cheap right now, but you know, he's going to be asking for more money soon. You have the opportunity to get a second and maybe a third or 2 seconds. I mean, and you can use that to move up to get that quarterback that you want. I mean, I think it's a win-win.
I just like if they don't get one of those two dudes, because the other guys have question marks. Stafford, you know, not going to get traded from the Lions to the Bears. I mean, that's just, you know, Matt Ryan's contract is kind of untradeable. Like, if they don't get one of these two dudes, like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't know if I can.
They got to go all in for a rookie.
Ugh. So, like, if they don't come away with Watson, Carr, or trade up to get Fields, I just feel like I'm going to be angry.
Yeah, they'll probably trade up to get Mac Jones.
Fuck.
Oh, my God.
That's such a Bears move. That'll be the ultimate Bears move, is that they'll trade up. And I already said this today. They'll trade up to 15 with Belichick, who loves to rip them off. They will trade their second-round pick to Belichick to move up to 15, take Mac Jones, because they'll start sweating. And
we need to upgrade Mac Jones. We need to upgrade both tackles if you're bringing Mac Jones in.
Yeah, and it's going to be, they're going to say we had conviction, and they're going to say conviction again, and then collaborated, and Bear fans is going to clap like crazy. I mean, I'm not saying Mac Jones is bad, but I don't think Mac Jones is the antidote to this team. I don't think he's just that guy, like, you know, like.
Yeah, well, I don't even know if Mac Jones is a day one starter. Like, Matt Nagy
he's a lot smarter than Mitch. He's a lot smarter than Mitch. I'll give him that.
Yes, but
let's put it in context of drafting quarterbacks. Look at Joe Burrow last year. Not even in the same fucking room.
Oh, Joe Burrow from the first snap looked better than Mitch.
Same competition.
Right.
As Mac Jones. But Joe Burrow did how much better? Remarkably better.
Yeah, but
with less talent, supposedly.
Right. But that is a very Bears move. Is to everybody will be gone. Wilson, Lance, Fields. They'll have nobody. They'll have not gotten Carr. They've not gotten Watson. They'll be sitting there like we can't not have a quarterback. And then they'll trade up to 15 to get, you know, and then they'll miss out on the tackle because they gave their second round pick to the fucking Patriots. And I could just see every stupid scenario. Like, unless Pace is literally
get a good tackle in the second round, man.
Like, yeah, but Pace literally, in order for him to have a good draft, he had to be handcuffed to a radiator somewhere. Like, he couldn't even really, like, you know. And I heard he wanted to trade up for Komet. They were saying that on
yes.
He wanted to trade up to like 37 for Komet.
Yeah, he had to be stopped. He had to like really be chilled out, from what I hear. To trade up for Komet. He doesn't, and that's the whole thing, is he doesn't understand value. He does not understand value.
No,
like it's like he's dumb. Like, he's a dumb GM.
Right. He just gets so tunnel vision, absolute tunnel vision, and so that's what concerns me. Is like they're gonna swing for the fences, they're gonna miss, and then they're gonna feel like, well, we can't come away with no quarterback, because that's if they can get a young quarterback that people believe in, they also buy themselves more time.
Absolutely.
Man, I just want this new league year to start, figure out what direction they're going.
Well, they don't know yet.
They should know. They should have a damn plan by now.
But every year we hear, oh, we don't know what our offensive identity is in week 10. Like, you should have already decided that. You know, like, give me a break. They only come to things backwards and by backing into them.
Trying to make Mitch work, man. It's hard to find an identity.
Well, yeah, but how long did they chase it and not realize it? They literally let themselves pick up Nick Foles as like a in case of emergency break glass and still try to make Trubisky work again.
Because Foles got hurt and the offense
at the beginning of the year.
I know.
I mean, it was so clear that you could buy that Foles didn't have time to win the job, but like it was just very clear that Pace wanted Mitch to get another shot, and he didn't fucking play good. You know, like he didn't play good. Nagy rolled out some high school offense for Mitch, and it wasn't really working. And then he couldn't wait to go to Foles. So that's what you get driven to, like crazy shit like that. And then finally, when Pace has conviction to get rid of somebody, he gets rid of the wrong person in Leonard Floyd, apparently.
Yep.
Like and they do some dumb shit like hire Chuck Pagano after 2 days of vacancy. They're like, oh shit, we have to get another old guy in here because I don't know. Like, we need another old dude because, apparently old dudes are still in fashion in Chicago. Like, everybody else has 30-year-olds running their team, but we're going to try it out, and I like Pagano as a dude, but, it's backwards. And we're always late on shit. We're late on Desai. It should have been Staley.
Yeah, yeah.
Always late. Always a day late and a dollar short.
Always chasing.
Always chasing. And Pace just chases his own fucking tail.
Yep.
I saw some Vikings blog boy thing that said the Bears are interested in trading for Kirk Cousins today. I almost broke my phone.
That's the biggest crock of bull I've ever heard of.
No, I hear you, man.
That too.
But that's the thing is, you could get Bears Twitter to believe anything.
Exactly.
Like you could just put it out there and it turns into something. Like kook ass dudes like Dan Sileo who tags everybody in every post trying to be somebody. Like trying to be somebody, acting like a kook. This dude gets clout on Bears Twitter. Like
who?
Dan Sileo. He's the dude that always tries to claim this and that, and he
played in the NFL for a year. But
he insists on tagging every player and team in all his posts. It's like the corniest. It's like the corniest Twitter that's ever corned. Like it's so terrible.
Yeah, he'll be like the at Chicago Bears want to trade for at Deshaun Watson. And he's wild with it.
Like, would they maybe trade to at Patriots? Like, it's like, what? Like, dude is just kook status. But every fake Trubisky this, Trubisky that site, just gasses him up because they just so starved for any information. Some out-of-work WBBM dude is, fucking putting up information like he knows something with his 4,000 followers. It's just so thirst, man. It's just thirst.
I don't really ever I've stopped paying attention to what other people say as far as rumors when it comes to football and whatnot, because these people just looking for to increase their follow count. That's it.
Right. Clicks and he likes.
Right. Well, anyway, thanks for joining us. It's been cool as hell to talk to you. It's been cool to have you on. Hopefully we'll have you on again soon. That's good episode. We talked about pretty much everything. We covered pretty much everything. Anything else you guys want to throw in there before we wrap it up?
Any shade?
I mean, we've been throwing shade.
I got the energy at 1:15 at night my time, man. I'm ready to.
Yeah. No, we're good.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. Y'all always great. I'm always honored to be on y'all show.
Cool.
Y'all do a
good job,
so it's whatever, man. All right, I appreciate y'all.
All right, cool.
Definitely have you on too, man.
Yep, have a good one. And thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Check it out. As usual, we'll have the podcast out, in a day or two. And we appreciate you listening to another episode of The Tailgate Show.
The Bears.
Deshaun, I want you. I need you. I got to have you.
Oh no, that was horrible.
You're welcome. You are welcome.
Oh God,
I have some shade to throw now.
Everyone, that was awesome. Aaron Jarrett's making music videos again. Bring it back.
We're gonna have fun with that one. Then